60 kilometers of beach line the Fischland-Darss peninsula, its widest near the Baltic resort town of Preiro in the north. After a winter of sun starvation, many brave the relatively cool early summer temperatures to come here and fill up on light. The local tourism industry blossomed after the decline of seafaring in the mid-19th century. Many say this is one of the Baltic's most beautiful beaches. The town center is reached via a short promenade. Seafaring developed in Preiro in the 17th century. Houses that were once the homes of sea captains harken back to those days. They've been restored with typical colored doors, and many feature a nautical orientation point, the sun, as a distinctive motif. The Seamen's Church is located on the outskirts of Preiro. Sailors once used its tower to find their way home. In those days, the sea also took many lives. Seafarers' graves in the churchyard tell the stories of entire families. Inside, model ships made by sailors hang above the pews. Some were crafted by men who'd been shipwrecked to thank God for rescuing them from the deep. Preiro is a good place to start a venture into the national park dedicated to preserving a large area of coastal wetlands known as the Vorpommersche Bodenlandschaft. Large areas of the Fischland-Darss Peninsula are protected. Cars are prohibited. The only way to explore them is on foot, a bicycle, on horseback, or in a horse-drawn cart. Nature has been left to run its course in the Darss forest. In some places, the undergrowth is nearly impenetrable. Foresters say the original primeval growth extends over an area of 50 square kilometers. One stop is the Lighthouse in Darss village, one of the Baltic's oldest and a symbol of the peninsula. Anyone who climbs the 127 steps to the top will be rewarded with a view far and wide over forests and dunes. But most people come here to see the wilds of West Beach. One of the main attractions, it has been shaped by the wind and waves, meaning its appearance changes daily. The Fischland-Darss Peninsula is bordered on one side by the Baltic and on the other by a large lagoon or sound known as the Bodden. Sandwiched between the sound and the sea, along a narrow strait, is Arendshoop. Idyllic natural scenery drew many artists to Arendshoop at the end of the 19th century, and it became famous for this reason. The Art Cottage was the most prominent gallery in the village. Today it still shows works of artists who have at one time been connected to Arendshoop. Elisabeth von Eycken, for example. Arendshoop is still a place for the creative. The Lucas Artists Residence, Künstlerhaus Lucas, is home to fellowship holders from all over Europe. They can come for a month and pursue their art. The charm that has drawn artists here is all around, even beyond the main street. Here they found subjects like the Dornenhaus, one of Arendshoop's oldest homes. Today it puts on exhibitions by contemporary artists. It's owned by a ceramics artist who's long lived in the village. He makes traditional Fischland ceramics in his workshop. Many of his motifs inspired by local animals and plants. After a stroll through Arendshoop, anyone who feels the wind and looks out across the sea from the steep cliffs will best understand the attractions of the peninsula. A sublime mix of beaches and boats, woods and wilderness, artists and artisans.